You're walking home, alone, and up ahead under a streetlight there's a woman. She asks you a question. A simple one. Am I pretty? You don't know it yet, but the wrong answer cost you your face. This isn't a story I made up to scare you. In January 1979, a Japanese newspaper printed a few lines about this exact rumor. 6 months later, police were patrolling school routes because of her. So tonight, I want to ask you something. How does a few lines in a newspaper turn into a nationwide panic in half a year? Let's find out. This is the story of Kuchisake-onna, the slit-mouthed woman. Let's go back to the beginning of that encounter. It's dusk. You are walking home alone, maybe from school, maybe from a late class. The streets are quiet. Just the sound of your own footsteps. And then you see her. A woman standing under a street light, or maybe just at the edge of it, where the light doesn't quite reach. She's tall. Her hair is long and dark. And she's wearing a surgical mask. A kind everyone wears, the kind that means nothing at all. She looks at you, and she asks in a soft voice, Am I pretty? You don't know what to say. And maybe you say yes, because she seems fine. Normal. Just a woman in a mask. That's when she reaches up and pulls the mask down. Her mouth is split open from ear to ear. A wound shaped like a smile that never stops. And she asks you again, the same soft voice, even like this. Am I still pretty? There is no right answer. If you scream. If you say no. If your face shows the horror you're feeling, she takes the scissors or the knife or the sickle she's been hiding, and she gives you a mouth just like hers. And if you say yes, if you manage to say yes, some say she simply lets you go. Others say that's worse. That she remembers your voice and finds your house that same night. Over the years, people have swapped stories about how to survive her. Some say if you answer carefully, tell her she's average. Nothing more, nothing less, she'll be confused just long enough for you to run. Others say to throw hard candy at her feet. She can't resist stopping to pick it up. And some swear that if you say one single word 3 times pomade, she'll flinch, turn, and disappear back into the dark she came from. Nobody agrees on why pomade works. But somehow, everyone who tells this story knows the word. Now here's the part that should unsettle you more than anything I just told you. This isn't just a ghost story. Some parents made up to keep kids from wandering off at night. In the spring and summer of 1979, this rumor didn't just get told in Japan. It got acted on. Schools organized group dismissals so no child would walk home alone. Police departments in multiple cities deployed patrol cars specifically to respond to this. This wasn't folklore anymore. This was a country responding to something as if it were real. So let's talk about what actually happened. It starts small, the way these things always do. Sometime around December 1978 in a rural part of Gifu Prefecture, an elderly woman claims she saw something near her home. A masked face glimpsed for just a second, enough to send her collapsing to the ground in shock. It's the kind of story that would normally die within a village. A strange sighting told and retold a few dozen times, then forgotten. Except this one didn't die. It reached the local school children. And children, especially children, who traveled between different schools for after hours. Crime classes are the most efficient rumor network a story could ask for. By January, it had a name and it had reached a newspaper column. By March, a national weekly magazine ran a feature on it. By April, most schools were quietly increasing patrols along the streets. Kids used to walk. By late June, one of the country's biggest weekly magazines devoted a major spread to it. Start treating a schoolyard rumor as something worth a serious feature story. And then, on June 21st, 1979, in the city of Himeji, something happened that made all of this stop being just a story about a story. A 25-year-old woman was found walking the streets masked, wearing a coat, carrying a kitchen knife. She was dressed exactly like the rumor everyone had been whispering about. She was arrested before anyone got hurt. Think about that for a second. By this point, the legend had become so widespread, so deeply embedded in the public imagination, that a real person decided to become it. Whatever her reasons were, she walked out into the world as the slit-mouthed woman, and for however long that lasted for the people who saw her, the rumor and the reality were the same thing. After that, it escalated fast. In Fukushima and Kanagawa, patrol cars were sent out specifically in response to report. In Hokkaido and Saitama, schools began dismissing children in supervised groups, rather than letting them walk home individually. In the worst affected area, some schools reportedly suspended classes altogether. A masked woman with a torn smile asking children if she was pretty. That image had gotten so deep into the national consciousness that adults, police and school administrators started treating a ghost story as an active public safety concern. And then, almost as fast as it appeared, it was gone. By August, when Japan's schools broke for summer vacation, something happened that no newspaper article or police patrol could have caught. The children who had been spread the story stopped seeing each other every day. The network that had carried her from one town to the next, one classroom to the next, simply went quiet. Within weeks, sightings dropped off almost entirely. The panic that had mobilized police departments and shut down. Classrooms faded out, not because anyone caught her, not because anyone proved she wasn't real, but because the children stopped talking, which leaves us with an uncomfortable thought. She didn't get defeated. She didn't get explained away. She simply ran out of people willing to keep her story moving. And maybe that's the real horror of Kuchisake-onna. Not the mask, not the scissors, not the question with no right answer. It's the idea that something like her doesn't need to be real to change how an entire country behaves. It only needs enough people willing to whisper it to the next person down the line. Here's what I keep coming back to though. Every version of this story you'll find online treats 1979 as the end of it, the year the panic burned itself out. But rumors like this don't actually die. They just lose the specific shape they had. I'd argue Kuchisake-onna never really left. She just stopped needing newspapers and school gates. Now she travels through comment sections and video essays like this one. The delivery system changed. The mechanism, a story so unsettling that people can't help. They are passing it on. So the next time someone tells you a story like this one, and you feel that small urge to tell someone else, just remember what happened the last time everyone did. If you want to go further down this road with me, subscribe. There are far darker corners of Japanese folklore waiting. And if you ever meet a woman in a mask who asks if she's pretty, you already know what not to say.